Okay, so this is the second book that I want to show you as part of this month's Special Collection Spotlight session. As I mentioned in the first part, James Ward, whose collection we're looking at, had a variety of interests, but he was particularly interested in local history, the history of Nottingham, Nottinghamshire and the surrounding area. Now, there are lots of nice examples of local history books in the James Ward collection, but this one that I've got out is one of the particularly nice and interesting ones. It's a very beautiful book. As you can see, it's got an embossed cover, which has also got gilding on it, with this rural scene in the roundel on the front, and the embossed and gilded spine, which is very nice and decorative. And the book itself is The Peak and the Plain, Scenes in Woodland, Field and Mountain by Spencer T. Hall, the Sherwood Forester, and it was published in 1853. You can see it's got this rather nice frontispiece here with some nice illustrations of the local area. Now, this book contains a variety of kind of individual short articles which provide notes on local places, local legends. For instance, there are 2 articles about Robin Hood and descriptions of landscape and wildlife of the area, together with poetry, because the author, Spencer Hall, was also a poet. Now, Spencer Hall himself was a very interesting chap. He was born in 1812 near Sutton in Ashfield, and he was home educated and then entered the weaving trade. But he decided that he wanted to become a printer. So in 1829 he came to Nottingham and was apprenticed to the Mercury newspaper. He also began writing poetry in this period of his life. Now, in 1836, at the end of his apprenticeship, he returned to Sutton in Ashfield and set up a printing and book-selling business, which seems to have been reasonably successful. He published the Sherwood magazine, within which he published some of his own work, particularly his poetry and these sorts of vignettes, under the pseudonym of the Sherwood Forester, hence the use of that title within the title of this book. He later moved to Sheffield to edit the Iris magazine, and he published these vignettes originally in that paper in the Iris. They were then gathered into a book, which was enlarged and reprinted as The Peak and the Plain in 1853, and that's the book that we've got here. Now, we have a few of his books in the Bromley House collection, as well as The Peak and the Plain, here from James Ward's collection. We also have a copy of his first book, The Forester's Offering, from 1841, and a book of biographical sketches of remarkable people from 1873. However, Spencer T. Hall's direct connection with Bromley House Library is from a rather different source. As well as his literary and printing work, he was also interested in what we'd now call alternative medical sciences. For instance, he was a member of a number of phrenology societies, and in 1841 he saw a demonstration of mesmerism and thought it was so incredible that he decided to teach himself to be a mesmerist, which he did, and he started to practice mesmerism as a cure for people, and he also toured around the country giving talks and exhibitions. Around about 1852, he also became a homeopathic doctor and acquired qualifications from Tübingen University in Germany. His connection to Bromley House, therefore, is that he gave demonstrations of phrenology here in the library in the 1830s. He wasn't a member of the library, but he does have that connection. So he was an interesting character, and this book here is a rather nice and good example of the sorts of local history books which make up the majority of the collection that James Ward donated to the library in 1914.